Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Spy Family, one of my absolute favorite series from this season, and honestly, if you're not watching it, you're kind of missing out. Pretty much everyone who's talking about anime is talking about this series as of this point, because, and I don't need to tell you, if you haven't started watching it yet, then you're one of very few who haven't, because this series is probably going to be, maybe not anime of the year, because that might be some other shows that are coming down the line, but it is definitely one of those shows that should be considered at least close to anime of the year potential, because seriously, I don't know a fan who doesn't, someone who's watched this series who doesn't love it immediately. But let's actually just let's go briefly over what Spy Family is, because obviously there's some really fun stuff. So Spy Family is, of course, about a family that has three major members, of course. So firstly, there is Lloyd Forger, who is the father, spy named Twilight. But he goes by the name Lloyd Forger as basically an attempt to get close to someone who happens to work high up in the government. And that, of course, is Donovan Desmond, who is going to be, who's basically planning to cause huge amounts of trouble by causing a war between the two countries of the series. Which, honestly, one of the things that just immediately comes to mind about this series is that it's basically the Cold War, but completely focused in Germany. Like, it's taking what was going on in Germany, but more specifically between Russia and the United States during the Cold War, and just putting it all into that of Germany, and or an equivalent to Germany, because it's not really Germany, it's Westphalia and Estonia. I don't know how to pronounce these names, but the point is that there is a conflict that's kind of a Cold War that's been going on for a long time, and it's bad, to say the least, but it's just gonna get worse if there isn't people like Lloyd and Yor taking care of business, and we'll get to Yor in a second. As part of his mission, Lloyd has to adopt a young girl or a young child specifically, to enroll in this prestigious school so that he can go to really fancy meetings between basically the top dogs of the entire world, or rather the entire country. One of those happens to be Desmond. So yeah, that's a bit of a chaotic moment. So in order to do this, he adopts a young girl named Anya, who becomes his adoptive daughter, Anya Forger. And honestly, I just love their dynamic, because she just is absolutely enthralled by the fact that he's a spy, because she happens to be a telepath and can read all of the minds, and he thinks that she's really intelligent at first, but then starts to realize that there's not really a lot that she's not the smartest person in the world. And honestly, she's not even smart for her age. At least that's what they're trying to get at. But in actuality, she is really smart for her age. Looking at what the curriculum is for her school, I'm just how is this the top-notch? I understand that you're gonna be dealing with these top-notch students, you're gonna be dealing with really complicated mathematics and stuff, but I'm looking at this stuff and I'm wait, they're starting with this, because she is 6 years old in the beginning of this series. I don't know if she gets older by the end, but it's definitely possible. But she's 6 years old. How the fudge is she supposed to know this stuff? They're doing fractions, and is the big thing that they're talking about, but there's other parts of it that I'm just you're expecting kindergartners to know this. Kindergartners now don't know this. Like, they're not even dealing with addition and they're barely dealing with addition and subtraction. And you expect them to know this on, like, the first day. They're supposed to know... What? They're supposed to know fractions, like, near the very beginning of the year. Like, yes, by the end, it's like, it's later in the semester. Like, by volume 7, they're after midterms or something. And it's just like, wait, how are these kids supposed to know this stuff? I like I said, I don't understand what they're thinking, but at the same time, it's like, it kind of makes sense that they're kind of going for that. Anyways, though, she's a telepath, and then there is the third member of the family, Yor, and original name Briar. And she happens to be an orphan alongside her brother and basically took care of him for basically her entire life. And the two of them are close, but not that close. She happens to be an assassin who has taken out several important figures, and the series begins with an assassination, and my brain just goes to, did Yor do that? Like, Yor is not one of those people who would do something that way. She would probably actually, like, kill the person, but at the same time, like, cutting the brakes for a car and having them dive off a thing, like, that kind of makes sense for an assassin to do. So, I don't know. Hard to say exactly, probably a different assassin, but at the same time, it could very easily be her, which... who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll reveal that at some point in the future. But Yor is very cautious. But because of the fact that she has been single and is now, like, in her late 20s, people are considering her, oh, she must be suspicious. She must be a spy. She must be trying to do something truly evil. So in order to fool everyone, she asks Lloyd to become her boyfriend, and then her husband when he fucks up. And because of that, it's absolutely just hilarious moments from that point forward, where the two of them continue to basically be Anya's parents. There are a few other members of the family that are really fun to meet, such as Scruffy. I think his real name is Frankie, but Anya calls him Scruffy, and he refers to himself as Scruffy in a few moments. And he is basically Anya's extra uncle, who is not actually important because he's just Lloyd's informant. And he's not biologically connected to anyone, but he's practically her uncle. Although he's basically just considered her babysitter for most of the time that he's there. So, good moments, but it's still absolutely hilarious. Then there is Yuri, who is Yor's brother, who is actually Anya's uncle, because, yeah, he's Yor's brother. And he absolutely despises Lloyd. Not gonna get into that, because that is a whole can of worms I don't want to touch. But he happens to be a spy for the other for the country that they're actually in. So that's an issue. You can kind of guess where that's going. So he hates Lloyd for other reasons, but you'll see that as you go through the series. But he's still a decent uncle to Anya, even though he kind of doesn't like her either. But it's a lot of cute moments still between them, and I love it. But then there is Bond the dog, and he is absolutely awesome, being that of a frickin' future sight dog. He can see the future, and it's hilarious. And if you like animals, you're gonna love Bond. His entire story is just all in one volume. So if you are looking for a volume to see if you like him, pick up volume 4 because that is his entire story. Pretty much. You can read through that without and still have some basic understanding of the rest of the story. Obviously, you should absolutely read the first 3 beforehand, but if you are just trying to see, do I like this series? I suggest actually checking out Volume 4 because that really just exemplifies what the story is about. And that's not even gonna be in the anime for the first season. So, more than likely. That's at least my theory. It could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, because it would be hilarious to see that happen. Just saying. But the point still remains that it is an absolutely just amazing train wreck with that entire family. And then there's a few other characters that are really important to the story, such as Anya's friends from school, Becky and Damien Desmond. Yeah, that's a thing. Who thinks that she's in love with him. So that's a thing. And that's just a whole bunch of stories, and I would love to just go over that, but it's absolutely hilarious to just see all of the chaos that ensues between Anya and her classmates, because that is the majority of the story. Straight up, the majority of the story is 100% Anya going to school and having a whole bunch of just chaos. And it's hilarious. I love it. I love her relationships with her fellow classmates. Even when it's, like, the stupidest chapter ever, which I don't want to get into, but there's a few chapters that are just like, what the hell did you do here? And then there's a few other really cool characters, like a female spy who happens to have a huge frickin' crush on Lloyd. So that's an issue. But obviously, I'm not going to get into that very much, but it's there. It's hilarious. Love story shenanigans. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love that part. And like I said, there's lots of other crazy moments that just happen throughout the series, and you're just going to be like, what even is this series? Because it is just comedy mixed with just family, found family, that whole situation, which is if you've watched my Witch Hat Atelier series, then you know how much I love my Witch Hat Atelier stuff. Then you know how much I absolutely love found family scenarios. But it also still has like those little bits of rom-com situations and other very classic tropes, such as the woman who can't cook and other crazy moments. So yeah. If you have not watched Spy Family yet, at least watch it, and then afterwards pick up the manga. There's only 7 volumes out right now, with 8, I think, on the way later this month. No, wait, next month, I think. With all of that, seriously, just check it out. You're gonna have the time of your life as you just laugh hysterically at all of the chaotic moments throughout the series. And like I said, do absolutely read the manga. As I said at the beginning, watch the anime. Personally, I think that the anime is a little bit better, but that's primarily because they are able to add so much more into the story. One of my favorite moments is this one scene this one episode where Lloyd has to go through a castle to save Anya. A complicated situation, not going to get into the details there, but in the manga, pretty much the entire thing is just cut out. Like, it's not in there. That was if there is an anime only episode, it's probably the closest thing is that. Because it is just hilariousness on top of hilariousness on top of more hilariousness, as we just get to see all of these crazy characters. And like I said, you're gonna love it if you haven't read it yet or watched it yet. And on top of that, I also suggest that you both watch the English dub as well as the Japanese dub, because one of the things that they did weirdly in the actual English dub is that they changed a lot of the jokes. Like, even though some of the jokes are still are in the English version of the manga, such as during that one time, the main villain says, "Scruff, scruff, 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 scruff." Yes, that is Scruffy, who is the one who is pretending to be a villain. And he says "scruff, scruff, 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 scruff" a lot as basically his evil laugh. But then he just changed it to a normal laugh in the English dub, and I'm just like, why? Why did you take out the scruff, 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 scruff? It's hilarious. And yeah, so seriously, check it out if you haven't yet. It's absolutely hilarious, and you'll probably laugh your butt off as you read through it and watch it, because it's hilarious, like I said. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. Of course, if you do have any theories, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, please subscribe and ring that notification bell if you haven't yet, because it really does help us out a ton. And also, in the comments, just let me know, do you want to see more videos about Spy Family? Because I'm willing to do a review for every volume as it comes out after volume 7. So, yeah, if you want me to, I'll do it. I will 100% do it. I will do it for 8, 100%. But if you guys don't like it after that point, I'm not going to continue to do it. So, let me know down in the comments below. Anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!
Grinding, grinding up levels, skill and stuff. Grinding, need to level up so we don't die. Farming, need some gil to buy some gear. Money.